Watch, the show where I get Chad drunk
Chad.
and shot. Did you? Never mind.
Idiot.
I get Chad drunk and I make him watch a movie that I've seen that I think is either too important to miss or too well made to ignore.
Can I say this one movie is the worst movie to make you watch drunk?
I know, and that's the plan. I get him. I made us drink a lot, but we watched 2004's Primer, and then there would be the poster in the center. Okay, Chad,
Doug.
what the fuck is Primer about?
Well, Primer's about two guys who are trying to invent an invention but ends up making time travel, so there are two different...
No. Give it to me in a sentence. 3, 2, 1.
Two guys make a shit. Time travel happens. Alternate realities. Who's the one that started the thing?
Well, it's not even alternate realities. It's same.
You gave me a sentence. I got pressure.
I understand. It's same timeline, just multiple versions of themselves affecting the timeline.
The
So,
same timeline, different persons affecting the
with
timeline.
different thoughts. Oh, dude, that's
Different thoughts affecting the different situations
My
that
favorite-
should have
my
happened one way.
favorite line in the movie is, "Dude, you hungry? I haven't eaten since later today."
He's fucking eating up fucking thing.
That's such a good line, though. That explains this movie. So Primer is the idea that these two
Nerds.
would you say no, they graduated college.
There are two guys trying to make as many concepts as they can.
Yeah, they're just making patents and selling them to companies. They're just tech nerds working out of their basement. They're trying to be the next Steve Jobs. They're trying to be the next
Bill
Gates. And while working in their garage, they invent a machine that can power itself, which is no. Fuck. All right, now I got to do it just to fucking.
God damn it.
Anyway, they invent a machine, right, that hums and whistles and puts out electricity or energy. And they're like, okay, what the fuck is this? And brown hair dude comes back and he's like, yo, blonde hair dude, watch this. So he goes over to the fucking thing and he's like, yo, check this out. And he disconnects the batteries and the machine is still going.
It goes for about probably less than a minute, but
Yeah.
showing the fact that
It's a perpetual motion machine.
Yeah.
Then they decide, well, we gotta put shit. We gotta put shit inside it, right? We gotta see what's happening. So they take a little blue Weeble. You know, Weeble wobbles wobble, but they don't fall down. Weeble and Bob is a website from my childhood. They put the Weeble in the thing. Oh, they build this. The machine is so like crazy you can't look at it. So they have this big steel box, which is genius filmmaking.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like, oh, we can't look at it.
for in general, you can't afford the effects, so
This movie is made by two dudes for $6,000, and it is better than most movies I've
if you
seen.
want a master class on how to make a cheap ass movie but still have the dramatic effect,
Still have it be make it look like a big budget film.
we'll get to the camera shot with the show though.
That camera shot.
Oh,
Okay.
we'll get to it.
Yeah. Okay. So before they build the box, right? They have the perpetual motion machine, and it's just making this humming noise. And they're like, "What's it do?" And the guy goes, "Check this out." And he grabs the paper from the hole punch machine, and the camera pans till you're looking through the lens of a camera, and he drops the paper in, and it starts floating. And then when it pans back, it stops floating. So the shot was just him dropping it, but then when they panned over to the camera, they used special effects to make it
Yeah.
look like it's so fucking smart.
And it's an easy way of making it not look as well, like good as it should be.
Right. Exactly, because if they just did it naturally, you'd be like, those special effects suck.
And this is where you're like, yes, Chad. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I said right, and then I reiterated your point.
Yes.
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 Okay.
But then, wow.
They put the box on it, and they hook the batteries up to it, and then they take the batteries off it.
Yeah, but they leave the camera in there.
Oh, that's right. They put the No, they put the
This is
camera.
later on after they
But
put the box in.
No. They put the camera in there so they can look through the TV. But remember, the TV just shows static. So we don't know what actually happens inside the box. But they put the Weeble in. They put it in for, 24 hours? And then they pull it out, and it's got this, yellow film on it. So they take it to a lab.
Yeah, they take it to the lab, but the guy's like, listen,
it's mold.
This is a joke.
No, the first guy, the engineer, is just like, yeah, it's a protein fucking compound. Take it to bio. So they go to the biologist, and the biologist is like, yeah, this is a joke, right? And they're like, yeah, it's a fucking joke, but, tell us what it is. And he goes, well, you have about 5 years of mold growing on this.
Yeah. So pretty much in the set of the scene, they bring the thing to the guy. The guy's like, this is a joke. And it's Ginger Guy proving to the brown hair guy that I just gave this to Milk yesterday.
It out. Ginger, red tie, brown hair guy, blue tie.
It's not always like that.
I know, but let's just do it for us.
Yeah. We'll get to the ties.
Oh, dude, we'll get to everything.
We'll get to the ties.
Okay. So, they bring it to the guy. The guy's like, yeah, you got 5 years of mold growing on it. They leave and go, well, we only put it in the box for fucking 24 hours. How the fuck does it have 5 years of mold growing on it? Which then they discover, and you can look this up, that they have an A point and a B point. And things traveling from the A point will take normal time to get there, but then traveling back to the B point at an accelerated rate, right?
Can I explain my theory on this?
Yeah.
It goes in a circle until
you stop
it catches.
But the problem is, it can only travel to when the machine was it can't travel before the machine was created.
No, but it only stops when the machine catches it.
Right. And so what they want to do is have, instead of the A point be the main point, they want the B point to be the main point. That way they can travel backwards.
Yes.
So what they do essentially is accidentally create the most realistic time machine ever created in fiction. No, because they gigawatts. Fuck that. They actually use real scientific, and they look at it from because the guys who made this movie are engineers, so they're looking at it from the point of view of an engineering standpoint. It's just heat and entropy. So they say a bunch of big words I don't fucking know, and there's a lot of math, and it just sure it makes sense. Like they're drawing shit on things, and I'm like,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I get it.
I'm a lame. Happens.
Yeah. And then, so they built their little time machine, right?
The little one, right?
Yeah. And they're hanging out outside a storage facility. Just like, we should build a bigger one. We should build one the size of a room. And then the Ginger goes, okay, God. Listen, don't freak out. And he goes, what do you mean? And he goes, look over there. And they see a duplicate of the Ginger guy walking into the storage facility that they were talking about building the time machine in.
And that's definitely the Ginger guy being like, knowing this happens.
But
it's so weird. Like, you don't know if he interacted with the guy. You don't know if he's just scoping it.
Well, like, we don't know. We just know.
Like, how's he know that?
All we know at that point is that the Ginger guy has already traveled through time.
Yeah, and my thing is, like, how many times do they travel back and they create a different loop?
Well, the narrative straight up says
it's only A and B.
But the narrator straight up says, well, I don't know how many times we've done that. Anyway, so the brown hair guy freaks out, obviously.
Don't always forget about the camera.
Which camera?
The shots.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into
I'm
that.
just giving the plot.
Yeah, we'll get into that after.
So brown hair guy freaks the fuck out. Blonde hair guy calms him down. They go inside. They open the facility, and the time machine that they were just discussing about building is already built.
And that goes deeper into the we're gonna manipulate it and keep it going.
Right. And not only is it already...
Sorry to skip ahead.
Not only is it already built, but it's already on. Meaning, blonde-haired guy's duplicate is inside the machine right now.
And this is one of the best parts of the movie. instantly, when you have the people inside the thing, they go to the hotel.
They have to go hide in a hotel because they don't want to fuck with the universe. So when they know they're okay, so the originals are getting into the machine. The duplicates that have already traveled time go hide in a hotel and then get back in the machine when they would be getting out of the machine.
And it's
cause the causality.
It is such a silly. We know what you're doing, so we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
For our parallel self.
And they play this. They do what you would do. They play the stock market.
Yeah.
And they wind up becoming millionaires, like millionaires. And they're discussing like how do we tell people? Well, we can't. No one can ever know that we did this. You know, because that important line of "Well, just tell your wife you got lucky on a bet," and he goes, "You don't know the questions that come with that." The blonde-haired guy asked the brown-haired guy, "You don't know what the questions that will come with that."
It's the ultimate...
Implying that they've already had this conversation, already went through with it was a sports bet. It failed, they got in the machines and went back.
Which goes good to the scene where they're like, this isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, the scenes where, like...
Like, I feel like their time travel just fucks with reality.
But the problem is they're time traveling against each other almost.
So them becoming rich fucks with the reality where they're not supposed to be rich. And just...
But...
I know you're probably thinking different things, but...
Well, that's the best part about Primer.
Yeah.
Is you watch it and you have your own idea of time travel, and then you see their time travel logically explained, which allows you... And they just leave just enough out that lets you extrapolate your own ideas. Like, it's fucking genius. But anyway, so Abe, blonde-haired guy, is hanging out in the garage, and his two guys he works with come in and they go, "So where's the hero?" And he goes, and this is him. He's been in the hotel all day. He goes, "What do you mean the hero?" And he goes, "Brown-hair guy. So and so brought a gun to my birthday party and he stopped him." And that's when Abe is kind of like, okay. So then he goes and confronts brown hair guy. And brown hair guy says, "Okay, so I'm from the future. I stopped that because something bad happened. But the only reason I stopped that, Abe, is because you built a failsafe device."
So it's the first initial confession of one of the futures interacting with the present, you could say.
Yeah. It's the first time they explicitly tell us that the future is interacting with the past.
Because the way let's get into the ties and the scar now.
Ties, the scars, the fingernails, the earpiece.
In this movie,
there's a lot of subtle changes.
They do a very weird thing where they do quick cuts. So pretty much they'll have a scene where it'll be us like this.
We're just talking.
Then it'll cut to us this.
And you'll notice Chad will have a little cut on his chin. And my collar will be a little different.
Or the tie will have a different pattern.
And you're noticing it, but I mean,
it could be a bad ending.
And then fingernail length. They're constantly changing. And that would only happen if they're, like, in one scene he's got short nails, and the next scene he has long nails. It's because time travel just happened. We're witnessing time travel.
Yeah. But if you're not paying attention...
You'll just not, it won't register.
This.
But anyway... So, the only reason brown hair guy was able to go back in time to stop the shooting at the party is because Ginger, in secret, built a failsafe machine before the original machines were even fucking built. I don't know how he did it. I don't know.
I think he was in the present time, saw everything, went back in time, was like, I have the technology... I'm going to build this.
But he can only go back to when the machine was originally built.
Do you know that?
Yes, they explicitly say, because it's an A-B causality, you can't have a C over here. You see what I'm saying?
I feel like there was a C lingering.
Or maybe there was always a time machine. That's how they knew how to build it.
Yeah,
so that's why when he was going like, how is this working? How are we doing this?
That's the worst thing about this movie. I feel like there was always a C.
There
was a C in the corner.
Or maybe C was A from the very fucking beginning.
C was the one controlling A, manipulating B.
C created A, which created B, which B created C.
So, C was the original.
Right. Holy shit. Anyone who has no idea what we're talking about is probably like, what the fuck are these two
I'm going to
saying?
put it out as drunkenly as I can. C was the original. He went and manipulated B. A. Something happened, so A went and manipulated B, or C went and manipulated B.
How do you explain that? Okay, so basically the way it works is when they're in the box, the ones outside of the box needs to hide, because if they meet Miss Jane while they're in the box, and then 5 minutes later Miss Jane meets them when they're out of the box, and Miss Jane goes, "You were wearing blue yesterday." Like, you can't... or you were wearing blue...
They put that in the movie, though.
Right, they explain it in the movie. So then, eventually, as things do, the universe fucks with them. Some kid is skateboarding down the street, hitting cars, and making their alarms go off. That was almost puke. That wakes up Abe.
Do you think that's the only point where they had an almost wake up?
That's the only point we see.
That's where I think C comes in.
So Abe wakes up, and he's like, I am not supposed to be conscious right now, because if I'm conscious right now, that means the me in the box is timeline is split. The only way I can fix this is to go back in time and keep the kid from waking me up. Which, great. Now we have that causality loop. So, he wakes up brown hair guy, and he's like, we need to go back in time. Brown hair guy comes over, and they're like, all right, it's time to go back in time. And they walk out into the street, and they get in their cars, and they're driving, and they're like, hey, isn't that Mr. Granger? And they're like, yeah, that is Mr. Granger. Why the fuck is he parked outside my house at 2 a.m.?
So that was when they had the weird voiceover, like, he was not meant to be in that situation at that time.
Right, the narrator comes in and goes, this was not supposed to happen.
And just the narrator there just to fuck with your expectations of everything?
I will explain who the narrator is at the end of the movie. So, they're like, why the fuck is Mr. Granger following us? Then Abe goes, yo, does Mr. Granger have a beard? And they go, yeah. And he goes, well, he didn't have a beard when I saw him this morning. And then they get out of the car, and Mr. Granger gets out of his car, and they start chasing him. And then Mr. Granger gets knocked out, and he falls into a coma. And now at this point, it's been revealed that extended time travel causes you to bleed from the ear and not be able to write well anymore. So how long was Granger in that he just fell into a coma?
Yeah, how long was brown hair guy? Because he had the same situation where he started bleeding.
His ear was bleeding bad, too.
And I'm going to apologize for the super slurs.
It's okay, because they start... Did you notice they started slurring in their speech the more they time traveled? Because it was eroding their brains?
Yeah, but even in the dialogue, they're like, my speech and my
handwriting is fucked. Yeah. And then it's revealed that...
that's why you don't know how many timelines there are.
It's revealed...
Like A, B, and C.
I showed you...
It's probably A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
It goes up to K, at least.
Yeah.
I showed you the timeline chart. The official Harvard primer timeline chart.
You just sent it to me so I could put it in.
Yeah. So, it's revealed brown hair guy is listening to every he recorded every conversation and has just been acting as himself this whole time. So how many times has he time traveled? Which is why
but Ginger's doing the same thing.
Remember when the first time Ginger walks onto the balcony and he walks down and he goes, earpiece, and he goes, March Madness, and then he goes, that's dumb, and then he goes, and then he goes, where are you going? You know, because he was supposed to say something different. That's the first clue that the brown hair guy is from the future.
So you have the luck of watching this more than once.
Dude, I've seen this movie so many times, and every single time I watch it, I notice something fucking different.
I feel like I did a good... I did a good job.
You got the ties right away, which was key. You didn't get the fingernails. You got the cut on the chin. That was key. But anyway, so eventually, Abe and I wish I knew the brown hair guy's name, but they never say it really.
Yeah, it's brown hair guy. Whatever.
So brown hair guy and blonde hair guy wind up figuring out that they've both been time traveling without the other one's knowledge. So they sit down and they try to figure out what each one has done differently. And they realize the one constant in all their timelines is stopping the shooting at this party. So they go to stop the shooting at this party. It goes off without a hitch. They time travel to before they built the time machines. Brown hair guy goes, okay, we need to fuck off. Because we can't be here. We need to fuck off. Because if we're here before the machines are built, everything is fucked. And blonde hair guy goes, I'm going to make sure they don't build the machines in the first place. And then brown hair guy goes, fuck it, I'm going somewhere where they don't know me. Blonde hair guy spends the rest of his life watching the two original pairs to make sure they never build the time machine. And then this is where your little idea comes in. It cuts to brown hair guy in a facility talking about how he needs everything a foot and a half apart, and he's in a big empty room talking to French people. You think he's building a time machine. I think he's just being an engineer.
See, I feel like he's slowly manipulating
The timeline to make himself. Oh, there's that important line when they're
'Cause-
arguing
no,
in
but-
the airport, and he's like, we need to fuck off, and then blonde-haired guy goes, you don't know what I'm capable of,
But even
implying there's more
at
time
the end,
machines.
at the end, the brown hair guy's like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like he knows he's way too confident in the situation
Do you want
that's going
to
on.
get tacos on the way to getting steak? Because he already knew it worked at
Yeah.
that point, you know?
So he's like, "No." we're gonna
Oh,
get steak."
man, the way this movie is shot, it's like... Oh.
It's the way this movie. We'll talk about how it's shot. The way the movie's shot, it's a very simplistic.
It's a handy cam.
It's one camera. It's not doing
Pretty much.
multicam.
No, it doesn't do any multicam. It's static angle.
You have a scene. Put it simply, you have a scene. Cameras there. Cameras there. Cameras there. Quick takes, going along,
Right.
and the way they do the quick takes is
It's
it
shaky.
fucks with you.
It's shaky cam done right.
It's I wouldn't even consider it shaky.
No,
cam.
because it's shaky cam because someone's holding the camera.
no, it's steady cam.
No, there's a lot
No,
of...
it's considered steady cam where you have the handheld camera and you go here, you go here. Even if it's a little shaky, it's not shaky cam because you're not doing the whole. We're moving with the camera.
JJ
It's not.
Abrams.
It's not JJ. It's not JJ. It's fucking the other guy.
Abrams? Snyder? No.
No, it's
I mean-
steady cam done wrong.
Was there a soundtrack?
There was a very.
There's a little couple musical, like, operatic stings, but
This
other
is
than
one of
that,
the things that I feel like if we make a movie, it's gonna be a very.
that's actually why I recommend everyone should watch Primer. It costs $6,000 to make. I think everyone should fucking watch this movie. It costs $6,000 to make. It's done by two dudes who are not professional filmmakers. In fact, if you watch the ending credits, this is how indie this shit is. They give a special thanks to the U-Haul facility. They give a special thanks to the company that let them borrow the air tanks. They give a special thanks to the restaurant that they eat in for 2 seconds. And this is them probably going up to the owner of the U-Haul facility and being like, hey man, we're making a movie. Can I just film in one of your storage units? And the guy going, yeah, just give me a shout out. Like, that's all it was. This is like indie filmmaking at its fucking best.
It does a great job at. I feel like if you watch this movie just watching it, you're not gonna give a shit.
No, you need to pay attention. This is a...
Yeah.
You kept... Alright, you didn't keep pausing it. We kept losing the stream because you have shitty internet. And it was like, anytime it would pause, it was like, I would turn to you and go...
Yeah, but
Yeah, like...
the good thing about this movie is it didn't pull me away from the.
Well, because
Drama.
it would pause and you would turn to me and go, okay, so here's what I think is happening.
The best thing a movie can do is make you keep guessing.
And this movie is a great...
Like, there are a lot of movies out there that try to be all fancy and be like, oh, keep guessing what's going on. No. You keep guessing with Primer, and you're never going to get it right until the
There's,
end.
I want to compare this movie to Inception in terms of...
I hate him so.
Me too. In terms of ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
How did you say
You
it?
fucked it up for me.
So, yeah, I fucked it up for you. So like, Inception, they're like, here's this super secret science. And you're like, that's rad. And they're like, okay, so here's the explanation. And you're like, that kind of sucks. Where Primer is like, here's this super secret science. And you're like, okay. And they're like, here's the explanation. And you're like, okay, I think I get it. Chad, what do you think of this movie? Are you glad I forced you to watch it?
All right. This, I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna lie.
No, shut up.
Thanks, dude.
No. This is the one that seemed most intriguing to me out of all the movies you put out there. Just because of the name. And you said it was science fiction. Nothing what I thought it was going to be.
Are you glad, though, I made you watch it?
Yeah. It was... Honestly, if you ever watch Primer, don't watch it drunk.
No, watch it drunk.
No, I wish I watched it sober. I would have a lot more thoughts. I think I did pretty good.
You did great, man.
I did great.
The fact that you kept catching things and I had to go, oh. You know, like,
The whole time you're like, I don't know, you're a fucking idiot. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no. No.
Hey, does he have a beard? Don't worry about it. You know, like, I had to do that.
Anyways.
Just watch. No, it's the TV. It's the
No.
TV.
Honestly, if you want to watch a cool movie that's going to fuck with your head and have a Christopher Nolan-esque to it.
No, don't even compare it to Nolan.
No, I will compare it to Nolan because that's all people know. It has a very memento.
It's a fucking Hitchcock movie.
Who the fuck is Hitchcock? Nowadays.
That actually, that
Hurt
was
you. I
real.
know.
That was
I know.
real anger.
I know. But who the fuck knows who Hitchcock is?
Anyone who knows what good movies are,
Well, anyway.
fuck you, audience, if you don't agree. I will die on that hill.
If you want to watch a movie, you'll be able to talk to your friends and be like, this is what I think happened. No, this is what I think happened.
Best part is, I know I'm gonna get the text, either today or tomorrow, of you going, okay, so hold on, you know, like, wait,
No.
so was it the duplicate? Like, I know
Let
I'm
me
gonna.
finish. This is a great movie that's going to be able to talk about for at least weeks to become.
Since I showed
I know
it,
I'm talking so stupid.
since I showed it to I watched it with my mother just because I was like, I want to fucking.
I want to do a force watch for your mom.
I was like, well, see, my mom prides herself on being like an art chick, but like she doesn't know who Truffaut is, so it's
Who the
like
fuck's Truffaut?
exactly.
Snob.
So I'll just be like, oh, hey, mom, watch this classic film, and then she'll watch it and be like, what the fuck did I just see?
Can we
And
do a force watch for your mom and me and her just watch what movie you want?
she would get drunk with us. I'll do that. My mom. I don't know if I want to.
But anyway,
Like when I watch Scaramouche with her, she fucking at the end
your
of
movie? Yeah.
Scaramouche, 40s. When I watched Scaramouche with her, at the end of it, she was like, "So wait, the love interest loses?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he rapes that girl, and I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "And that's the good ending?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And I was like, "Yeah, Scaramouche, bro. It's an awesome
What's the
movie."
problem with movies, man? Nowadays, it's like you can't have bad situations to be good.
Like the woman
You
goes,
can't have like
literally at the end of Scaramouche, the love interest goes, "Well,
Can
now that you know it's not your sister, you can fuck her."
was this movie called
No.
Primer?
Yeah, Primer. Primer's amazing. Primer is amazing. Primer is amazing.
If you want to watch a movie, be able to talk to your friends. Watch Primer.
Chad, is Primer amazing? Chad, out of 10, where is Primer?
I don't even want to do the considering the.
Okay,
$6,000 budget.
Is a Primer a movie you?
Hey, hold on, shut up.
Do you
Shut.
do you ignore Primer?
No.
Do you rent Primer? Do you own Primer?
I'm gonna put in two categories. The $6,000 budget, right?
Yep. India's
Fucking watch the shit out of it.
watch.
Watching it as a movie that you don't even know the budget, watch the shit out of it.
It's-
It's a good movie.
And now you guys get what Force Watch is.